Welcome to On the Spot Review. I'm going to talk about the newest Blade Runner. Now, I didn't see the first movie, I didn't see the original. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be gasping and be like, oh my god, how dare he. But let me tell you something, guys. This movie can stand on its own very well. I never felt lost in the movie or in the story. I thought it can stand well on its own, while it's probably another kind of movie that can be seen if you saw the first movie or not. You don't really need to see the first one to follow this movie, but there's probably a lot small little callbacks to the original that maybe longtime fans are gonna appreciate more. But this movie, in of itself, can stand on its own very well. You don't really need to see the first movie, even though I'd probably tell you that it's probably suggested or recommended. But you will not feel lost if you really want to go see the movie and you didn't see the first one. You don't have to worry. The movie it can stand on its own. I really like this movie. The cinematography is fantastic. It's probably one of the best cinematography I've seen in a movie since a long time ago. I don't know. I think the last movie. I mean, a lot of people give Alien Covenant a lot of shit for, but that movie had very good cinematography. But this cinematography for this movie is very strong and it's very powerful. Like each scene, when it establishes a shot, it just feels gorgeous to look at, where you get sucked into the world immediately. And that's something I really like about this movie, where it's not crazy with the CG. The computer generated stuff is kind of there when it makes sense to have it, but it's not like something we need to have it, guys. You need crazy computer screen stuff. It didn't feel like a movie that was filmed in a green screen. Um, so yeah, the cinematography was really good. The each shot that you see in this movie is just breathtaking. Each one, gets more breathtaking than the last. It's such a, the cinematography is just fucking fantastic. It's perfect. The characters are very well liked. I liked almost every character. The only character I kind of didn't like was, I don't know her name, but the woman that was chasing Ryan Gosling in the movie. Like Jared Leto's friend or whatever, her that girl, I don't remember her name. I didn't really like her. She wasn't really a character that was memorable. She was just kind of there in the story. She's just there. Didn't really care for her. Harrison Ford did a good performance. As always, I never really am disappointed with Harrison Ford's performance as far as the movies I've seen with him. Ryan Gosling, another fantastic actor. I thought he was. I think they cast him pretty well. He has such a good face. He has a very honest look to him. He looks very human. I don't know if that makes any sense, but he looks like very down to earth. Then no, like from Harrison Ford, as good of an actor as he is, you can kind of tell that he has a lot of star power, and he doesn't look like he's just some average person. He just looks like a very grizzled kind of guy, which is the point of that character, and that's fine. But Ryan Gosling seems a little more like relatable as a character, and I really like this movie. I thought the characters, the acting, all worked in tandem with each other. It really highlighted a lot of stuff. The story is very memorable and hooking. Like I still am like blown away by the ending. The ending was really good. I thought the ending ended on a high note. Very solid ending to it. I'm not gonna get into the story just yet. I'll save the story for later in this review. The music was good. I wouldn't say it's something that I would buy on iTunes or anything. I wouldn't get the soundtrack for personally, but the soundtrack did sound good for the movie, where it kind of built up these slow scenes, and it really felt futuristic and kind of ominous in some scenes. So I really appreciate that. Um, the the pacing is probably the only thing I didn't like about the movie. I thought that it was too slow. Now that's not to say that you can't have slow scenes. I think, there's scenes that deserve to be slow, that needs to, you just to sit there and have the events sink in and have it really like kind of really match the tone. But a lot of the scenes I feel like were too slow or too long. Like I started getting cabin fever for certain scenes. Like some scenes just went on for too long, where it was just like, okay, I think we can either cut to something else or just do something. Uh, and I know a lot of people might say, well, that's the point. It's supposed to drag on, but it's just like, you know, in the theater when I was watching it, there was a person in front of me that fell asleep during the whole movie, and he started to snore, and that's kind of that's the issue. I'm not saying that this movie has to be quick and like this. I'm not saying that either. I just think that when you have a scene that drags or that's slow or whatever, it really has to earn it, and it really has to match the reason. Like, you can't just have a long scene in there just for the sake of it, because you do want to kind of um, capture the audience into the movie and want to engross them. And some of these scenes just kind of felt that they overstayed their welcome in some cases. But it wasn't enough for me to be bored of the movie. As much as I don't like how slow and long some of the scenes are, I don't think that it was to the point where I would say that I stopped liking the movie or anything like that. It wasn't anything crazy like that, but it was just something that was in the back of my head that was like, okay, we should be doing something else right now. So there's that. So that's it for the non-spoiler stuff. So now I'm gonna get into spoilers. You've been warned. So the story is very, very, very good. I like the idea that these replicants were kind of like slave labor from the original movie, and Ryan Gosling is going around hunting them down, and he gets to get a little wind of this miracle that happened. And as a person who didn't watch the first movie, it was pretty interesting, and this is what I mean, that this movie can stand on its own, where you're just sitting there like, oh, stuff that happened in the first movie, and I know that there's like a blackout, there was a resistance, and this and that. Man, I wonder what happened. Then you see kind of the falling out in this movie, so it's kind of interesting to see where that goes. I didn't feel too lost about that, and maybe if anything, this movie made me want to see the first one. I liked the twist where at first you think that Ryan Gosling is Deckard's son. You think that that's where the story's leading, and at first I was like, that's a cool reveal, but it feels a little too generic. It feels kind of too safe and expected. But then when you get to the end of the movie, it's like, oh, actually, that girl that was in that dome, whatever, she was Harrison Ford's real daughter, and it's just like, holy shit. And Ryan Gosling was kind of like this guy that kind of got brainwashed or tricked into thinking that he was Deckard's son, and I thought that was very, very interesting and kind of clever, because it kind of subverted that kind of father like son kind of thing. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it meant a lot for Ryan Gosling's character as well, where you kind of feel he died for a good purpose at the end of the movie. Like, that was the whole thing with the Resistance saying it's very human to die for a good cause or something like that. And Ryan Gosling died for a good cause, or at least a good cause that he thought. And I like that. I like that a lot in this movie, where he ultimately gave everything for Deckard to reunite with his daughter. And I thought that was kind of a very powerful element in this movie. He lost his hologram girlfriend. He lost her, and to the point where you would think that he would just say fuck it and just sit and either kill himself or just not bother. He decides to go out of his way to make sure that Deckard meets his daughter, and I think that was a very nice link in the story. It made these characters very human as far as their replicants, obviously, and that's what I liked about this movie. It was very clever in these character interactions, these plot twists. It didn't feel contrived. It didn't feel oh, I saw that coming. I mean, some people might say that they saw it coming, that Ryan Gosling wasn't the real son. I'm sure someone could predict that too, but for me at least, I didn't expect that, because it would have been a safer movie. It was, Ryan Gosling was the son. They would have probably gotten away with that easily. Having this daughter aspect of it was very, very unique and interesting, to say the least. So I really liked that kind of twist that they added to this movie. So the only thing about the story I didn't really like was that I felt that the Resistance stuff was kind of pointless. Like, you meet the I can't remember the character's name, but the girl, the replicant with one eye, the eye in the other or whatever. She kind of was there, and then she just kind of walked away. There really wasn't anything that was like, oh, we're gonna see some shit now. Oh, we're gonna see a a climactic battle or something, and you don't really get that. And I think that was the thing that they kind of brought up that plot point, and it just kind of doesn't really go anywhere. They also bring in Jared Leto, and Jared Leto's character is just kind of there as well. Like you kind of get the idea why he's there. He wants to make the best replicant that can procreate and do all this all this crazy stuff. Like he sees himself as a god, but like they don't really do anything with him. He's just kind of there, and then you don't see him ever again. And that's the thing. Like I don't know if this movie is planning on doing a sequel or doing a series or something. I don't know if that was the end game of this movie, but the overall movie felt final, and it felt like that. Oh, this is it for Blade Runner or so, and then they have like these other plot points that just kind of don't resolve, and I don't know if that's supposed to be the case. Like, is it supposed to leave these plot points unresolved, or it just feels weird as a movie. I mean, it doesn't really make it terrible or oh man, the movie's not finished, but it just feels a little weird to bring these elements up and then just kind of, oh well, that's it. It just kind of felt weird. The ending was good though, but it just felt weird bringing that stuff up if they're not going to be truly resolved. Who knows? I mean, it's I guess we'll have to see what happens. I mean, maybe they are going to plan on doing a series. So, overall, I would give this movie a very weird score because this is the only movie I saw this year where I'm split between a 9 and a 10 out of 10. Like, I don't know I don't know what to give it because like it felt like a perfect movie in a lot of ways. Like I really enjoyed the movie. I didn't like feel bored in this movie, but I don't know if I would want to give it a 10 because of the pacing and some of the plot stuff that I brought up, but those things kind of didn't really weigh that much. I don't know. I don't really know. I can't really give it a score. I know this is weird for a review to kind of leave it ambiguously, but ultimately I would say it's between a 9 and a 10 out of 10, somewhere there. You can kind of picture my review there, I guess, but that's the best I can give you. I'm sorry if you were expecting a final conclusive number, but it's just this movie was, you know, enough to make me like this movie, and I just don't know what I would rate it. I just can't figure it out for the life of me because it was it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. I would say go check it out. That's all I'm gonna say. Go check it out. You'll love it. Thank you. See you in the next one.